Hello everyone, it's me Jenny, and there's been a lot of drama on the internet the last week or so, that pretty much everyone that I watch on the internet and everyone that I interact with in the internet has in some shape or form commented on, and for me that debate can kind of be more or less summed up without the original context being discussed, the debate between comedy versus bullying, and it's a very, very complex issue, and it's one of those ones that for me it comes down to whether or not it's in a personal or a public context. If it's in a public context, then comedy should be there to include people and kind of like shared empathy. It's one of those things that I say quite a lot with comedic actors is if a comedian can make you laugh, they can make you cry, and that's something that I say because in order to understand people and actually make them laugh, you really have to have a level of human empathy and human understanding, and that's what makes, for me, really great comedy, because you can be incredibly funny whilst being, you know, satirically rude, or, you know, making very abrasive comments, but it needs to come from a place of human understanding and human empathy and knowing people and knowing how they actually feel. Trying to tell people something in a very forceful manner and then using the blanket term of comedy to discuss it is not something that is appropriate. And then it also comes down to, like, in terms of private comedy, it's a very different thing. For me as a child, I was very, very, very quiet. I barely spoke for the entire primary school. I obviously had conversations with my sisters and my parents, and I put up my hand in class, but I had a fear of saying the wrong thing, and so I didn't really talk to many of my friends because, well, I was scared of saying the wrong thing and getting in trouble. That was the school-based thing, but I couldn't participate in any of the banter or the teasing that's just generally, you know, something that you learn as a fun way of socially interacting, because I was scared that I would say something that would really, really hurt someone, because when people would say something bantery or witty to me, whether ill-intended, whether genuinely trying to be mean or just trying to be funny or trying to, you know, say something like just a personal comment, I would take that very much to heart and be very much emotionally affected by it. And so for a long, long time, along with a plethora of other reasons like being shy, I was scared to participate in banter, scared to like try and be funny, and I don't consider myself a funny person, I just don't, but in order to get that level of just general social banter, that took me a long, long time to develop, and a lot of carefully stepping over those fears of saying the wrong thing and saying something that would be unintentionally mean, and banter works. Saying something funny and maybe slightly rude or slightly, you know, indecent, is funny in a private, personal context, with people that you trust. And it comes down to trust and how well you know someone. Cards Against Humanity is a perfect example where you say the most appalling things, but it's funny because the people that you're playing with, generally, for the most part, are people that you trust, and you know it's not meant for serious intent. It's not a personal thing, and 90% of the time with Cards Against Humanity, it's not against a specific person within that group. It's general satirical comments on the world, and it's meant to be offensive. It's titled that. General banter in a workplace can occasionally be offensive, but within a social group can occasionally be offensive, but within the context and how well you know people, it's usually not that bad. When you're publicly being rude and putting a blanket market under comedy, that is not really comedy and it's not really satirical. It's all down to intention and context. And I think there's definitely something to be said for considering the intention and the context to the discussion that's going on at the moment, and not giving in to the intention, which I feel is more to do with rage baiting than it is to do with actual comedy or actual advice. So yeah, I think there's something to be said for thinking about what you say before you say it. And if you're going to say it, regardless of how you think people may react, then really considering whether or not the aim of your conversation or subject is worth the dislike that you're going to have to suffer for it. Yeah, I think I said something. I don't know. But skirting around the issue alone, you know, think before you speak. You can't, if you've got nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all unless it's in a context where everyone around you is in on the joke. And yeah, comedy is funny, but you have to be an empathetic human and understand what you're saying, who you're saying it to, and why, to actually produce humour. And that's about it. Thank you for watching. Feel free to comment if you have been part of this debate and have any opinions on what's going on the internet space at the moment. Yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys all soon. Bye guys.